Welcome to Bravo Basics. Today I wanted to go over the modes or introduce them, and I want to do it in the key of C. I chose C because C does not have any sharps or flats, the key of C. If you look at a piano, all the white keys are in the key of C. So I'm going to go through the major scale. I'll call out the note and then also the position, the degree that I'm playing. So I'm going to start with C. I'm going to start with the C on the E string. So C, the 1, D, the 2nd, E, the 3rd, F, the 4th, G, 5th, A, 6th, B, 7th, and then C, the octave. So as I mentioned before, the 1, 4, 5, those are all major chords. So if you're in the key of C, you'll likely see a C major, F major, and G major. And the 2, 3, and 6, those are minor chords. And that would be a D minor, E minor, and A minor. Now, those chords are only playing notes that are in the key of C. So if I'm playing a minor chord, an A minor, I'm only going to play the white keys, if you will. If I'm playing E minor, I'm only playing the white keys on the piano. So all the notes that I would be playing are in the key of C. So something that I think that's important to at least to remember is the spacing between the notes, because it'll help when we start moving into the actual modes. So between 1 and 2, it's a full step, a whole step. Between 2 and 3 is a whole step. The 3 is here or here, so you notice it's a whole step. So whole step, whole step. Between the 3 and the 4, it's a half step. And then between the 4 and the 5 is a whole step. Between the 5 and the 6 is a whole step. So the 6 is here. It's also here. 5, 6. Between the 6th and the 7th is a whole step. And then between the 7th and the octave is a half step. Now, those half steps are what give the modes that are different a sound. So I'm going to play the C major scale again. And I'm going to play it all the way up. And you'll see why. So if I work my way up to the 4th, so now I'm on F. If I continue from the 4th and I continue all the way up to the F, starting with the F here, going to this F, that's the 4th mode. So that's the Lydian mode. So I'm going to play the 1, and now I'm going to make this my 1. The F is now going to be my 1. So 1, 2, 3. Now if I were playing the major scale, the 4 would be right here. But since I'm playing the Lydian, now the 4 is right here. We call that a sharp 4. So the 4 is sharp now. But that's what gives this note right here, the sharp 4 is what gives the Lydian mode its sound. So then there's the 5, 6, 7, and the octave. You'll notice the 7 and the octave are still next to each other. So if I'm going to play the Lydian mode, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, octave. So it's this relationship here that gives the Lydian its character. Now the way I use them, the modes, it's just the way I was taught, and I have found it to be useful. If the song is in the key of C, and they're playing, if the chord progression is C to F, then I could play the entire major scale. And then when the song switches to F, I'm still playing the major scale, but now I'm actually playing in the Lydian. So I use the Lydian now as my dominant scale. So now I'm going to be playing in the chord will be F, so I'll be playing around using the Lydian as my frame of reference. And if I move back to the C chord, then I'll use the major scale as my frame of reference. Now I'm going to do the fifth mode now, which is the Mixolydian, which is right here. So I'll do the major scale, the first mode, the Ionian. Now I'll play the Lydian, F Lydian. So there's the sharp 4. Oh, and you'll notice before I move on to the fifth mode, so the 1, so I'm 3 and the 5. I had mentioned that the 1, 3, and the 5 make up the major triad. The third, incidentally, determines whether or not the chord is a major or a minor. So 1, 3, 5. Now, if I'm playing Lydian, so 1, 2, 3. So the relationship between the 1 and the third, it's the same. And also between the 1 and the 5 is the same. So the 1, 3, 5. So that's why there's a major chord for the fourth position. Now, if I slide over to G, so this would be G Mixolydian. If I continue playing the notes in the key of C, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, normally the 7th would be here, but in the Mixolydian, the 7th is right here, which we call it a flat 7, and then the octave. And if you compare that sound to the Lydian, and then to the major scale, there's a slightly different sound to each one of them. So back to the fifth, the Mixolydian. Now I'm going to play him, so I'll do the 1, 2, 3. So you'll notice the 1 and the 3 have the same relationship. The 1 and the 3 have the same relationship that they did in the 1, the 4, and the 5. So that means this chord is going to be a major chord. So 1, 3, 5. And the 3 makes it a major chord. But now this one also has what we call the dominant 7. So that's why if you play the 7th in G Mixolydian, the chord's going to be a G 7th. So just a quick recap with the 1, the 4, and the 5 mode. So the Ionian, the Lydian, and the Mixolydian. All three of them have major chords embedded in them. Now for the major scale, so that's the standard major scale. Now when I play the Lydian, the takeaway is that the Lydian has a sharp 4, which is the 4th normally is here, but now the 4th is here. So F Lydian, and then G Mixolydian, flat 7. So if C, if they're playing a 1, 4, 5 chord progression, so the 1, the 4, the 5, 4, the 1. So whenever I'm thinking of bass lines, first I find the key, so I know where the chords are. And then once I know the chords and their positions in the major scale, then I switch to modes. So now if it's a 1, 4, 5, I'm thinking major scale, Lydian, and Mixolydian. And then I use those to come up with the bass lines. That's all I have for now. In the next video, I'll go over the 2, the 3, and the 6, and the shapes of those modes. Those have a few more flats than the 1, 4, and 5 mode. Well, that's all I have for now. Thanks.